Greetings and peace to you. I hope you're well and in good health, of a sober mind, and in spiritual equilibrium. Today we continue our reading of Imitation of Mary, Book 2, Chapter 8, How to Offer the Sacrifices God Asks of Us. The offering which mothers made of their firstborn sons to God in the temple was but a small thing. However, your offering of Jesus, Holy Virgin, was a true sacrifice. You knew that someday he would sacrifice his life for the salvation of man. Therefore, you offered him now as a victim, just as he had already offered himself to the Eternal Father. The event in the temple was the beginning of sufferings that would last to the dying breath of Jesus. Your soul began at that moment to be pierced with the sword of sorrow, of which Simeon spoke to you as he held Jesus in his arms. The mothers of this world love their children, but the latter are not given all of their mother's affection. How much affection these women reserve for empty things, how much for themselves. But you loved Jesus with all your power of loving. You loved him with your whole heart, and you loved him alone. He was your only son. You had hardly begun to taste the joy of being a mother, and the mother of such a son, when the day came for you to go and offer him to his divine Father, and you went. Worthy daughter of Abraham, and heir to his faith, you suppressed all your natural feelings and listened only to the voice of God, who wanted you to sacrifice what was dearest to you in this world. Mary, my child, be persevering and generous like me when God asks anything of you, no matter what it may be. He asked me to sacrifice what I loved the most. Yet what does he ordinarily ask of you? Only the sacrifice of what you ought to hate. If you love God, generosity should be the main proof of your love. A heart that is mean and niggardly does not know what it means to love. If you are unwilling to do anything difficult for God, if you lose heart at the sight of difficulties to be surmounted, can you be said to love? True love proves itself in pain and conflict. Inability to suffer is incompatible with the outlook and practice of an authentic follower of Jesus. Do you want to please the Lord with your sacrifices? Then offer them promptly and without inquiring what they will cost you. The world asks harder sacrifices of its disciples, yet it need only speak, and they obey immediately and completely. Is God to be the only Lord to whom no one is willing to offer sacrifice, without first inquiring whether he is asking too much? My child, we have but little love for God if we put limits to the proofs our love is willing to give. In the world, a person who acts solely according to whim and loves only when it suits his interests would nonetheless not dare show a heart such as most Christians dare to offer God. A son who does only what his father absolutely requires, a wife who is not interested in pleasing her husband when pleasing him makes demands on her. Do such people show a sincere and acceptable love? God is infinitely good to all his creatures, but he is also a jealous God. He is not served as he requires and deserves to be served unless he is served with a heart perfectly submissive to his every wish. Be ashamed, then, to be so slow in his service. Be ashamed to do so little for him when he has done so much for you. Do you find that he gives you orders sometimes difficult to carry out? My child, he will give you other such orders, for you must earn his rewards. Prosperity, rest, reputation, health, life itself, all these he may ask of you, for he has a right to them all. Do not be surprised that the more you give him, the more he will ask of you. He does this in order to prepare you for greater favors during your time on earth, and to enable you to receive greater rewards in heaven. May God bless you, God love you, God's peace to you. Please pray for me as I pray for you.